little square that looked to me like a flat burying ground. I thought it had the most dismal trees in it, and the most dismal sparrows, and the most dismal cats, and the most dismal houses, in number half a dozen or so, that I had ever seen. I thought the windows of the sets of chambers into which those houses were divided were in every stage of dilapidated blind and curtain, crippled flower pot, cracked glass, dusty decay, and miserable makeshift. While to let, which means for rent, glared at me from empty rooms, as if no new wretches ever came there, and the vengeance of the soul of Barnard were being slowly appeased by the gradual suicide of the present occupants and their unholy interment under the gravel. A frowsy morning of soot and smoke attired this forlorn creation of Barnard, and it had strewn ashes on its head, and was undergoing penance and humiliation as a mere dust-hole. Thus far, my sense of sight, while dry rot and wet rot and all the silent rots that rot in neglected roof and cellar, rot of rat and mouse and bug and coaching stables near at hand besides, all addressed themselves faintly to my sense of smell and moaned, "Try Barnard's mixture." So imperfect was this realization of the first of my great expectations that I looked in dismay at Mr. Wemmick. "Ah," he said, mistaking me, "the retirement reminds you of the country. So it does me." Which is hilarious, because what he means by retirement is like the peaceful seclusion, its distance from the hustle and bustle and mess of the core of town. The retirement of this place reminds you of the country. Not remotely. It could not be further from the country, with its crippled flower pots and dusty decay and dry rot and wet rot and all the silent rots that rot in neglect. That is the tone that Dickens returns to again and again to drive home his points. This sort of twist from the comical effect of heaping point on point to the final drop, almost a mic drop, where you go, "Oh, wow, you're right. That is awful." And we see it so much that sometimes we stop seeing it. Dickens really makes an effort in his work to make people see things again, the things that are all around them. Click on over to part 2 of this video for our focused investigation of Great Expectations.